Yo, got a motherfucking haircut. I left it much longer in the back, probably longer than I wanted to, but fuck it, whatever. That was like 5 days ago. So I trimmed my beard, and actually there's a little spot here. Well, it's filled in now, but I like fucking dug in a little bit because I was freehanding it because the beard was so massive, so insane that I had to. Well, I guess I just felt like just freehanding it with no guard, and I got what I deserved, right? So now I know. Lesson learned. But anyway, I just trained legs. I did 4 plates on the hack for the first time. I do have a habit of going a little bit too heavy sometimes, because I think when you're dieting, it's easier to just go heavier and do less reps instead of doing this like 10 to 15 rep last 5 reps or like rest pause because you're waiting like 10 seconds, like those type of sets. So we did 4 plates. I got 3. I almost got 4 slow negatives, and I take that as a good set because it's still stimulus in my nervous system and the muscle that I'm trying to train, which is my legs, specifically my quads. Everything else is going to work too, obviously, but it's good pressure on the body. Let the body adapt to it. So I want to talk about why people have a hard time getting in shape. There's a couple main reasons, right? I mean, the one reason is they're taking in more calories than they are burning, right? So what does that really mean? It means they're either not moving enough throughout the day to burn off the calories that they're eating throughout the day, or they are eating too much, and no matter how much they walk, they just can't seem to keep up. Or they're eating a bunch and they're not moving at all. What's one of those? So here's what you do if you're trying to lose weight. It doesn't matter if it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 30 pounds. You have to move more. Okay? Most people probably aren't moving enough. And then you have the other extreme where the walkers are walking like 10 fucking miles a day. You know, but whatever. Let's just leave those out of it. Let's just leave them out of it for now. Not that there's anything wrong with walking that amount, but they tend to not weightlift as their main priority. They tend to do more of the walking, which is fine, but if you really want bone thickness, muscle density, which creates an overall appealing look in the body, you have to weight train as a priority. The rest is secondary. So you have to move more, which means you don't have to track your steps, but you definitely have to not be laying down for a long time watching movies and then going straight to bed. I mean, you have to kind of every couple of hours, you got to get some type of walk in. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk. Simple as that. I mean, 10-minute walk. Let's say you're walking at 3 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour. That is... Let me put some air on first. I just worked out, so I got to get some of this. 3 miles an hour. If you're walking at that pace, right? Let's just say that. 3 miles per hour. So if you're walking at that rate, every 20 minutes is a mile, right? Yep, so 10 minutes is half a mile. Every step is every step you're taking, maybe it's like 2 feet, 2.5 feet. 5,280 feet in a mile. I don't know the math on that. I did it before, but you're getting in maybe 1,000 steps for every 10 minutes, 2,000 steps or so every 20 minutes, something like that. I did the math. I'm not gonna do it right now, but I did it yesterday, I think, because I just like to know. Just take it to the extreme of wanting to know exactly what's happening. So, you gotta get your steps in. Gotta eat cleaner, because that's gonna overall limit how much calories are coming in, because it's a lot harder to eat a lot when it's cleaner food. I don't have to go into specifics on clean food. Everyone knows what clean food is and what's shit food. We all know McDonald's is shit. If you don't, well, now you know. But it's shit. very easy to overeat that. And it just does something to the brain chemistry, and it puts you in a low mental state, and just not really a lot of positives to it. I've never eaten any of that shit and then after been like, that was a good idea. Never. You might try and rationalize it, but the truth is, probably shouldn't have eaten that, you know? It lowers your mental state and your overall drive and discipline, and overall drive for life and the purpose that you're trying to go towards. You know, everyone should have a purpose, but that means financially, whether it's whatever. I think you have to master every avenue: relationship, financial, I mean different types of relationships, right? Family, and then you have friends, and then you have girlfriend, boyfriend. It's probably all guys watching this, maybe a couple of girls, but whatever. Mostly guys, right? So I have to master everything, really. The training is the foundation for it. But getting back on track here, walking, you need to walk more. You need to weightlift heavy but controlled. You need to limit restaurants. Everybody loves their restaurants, you know? The problem is it's very hard to eat clean. Even the most disciplined people, they still have a hard time eating clean when they go to a restaurant. Even if it's a clean food item, it just tends to fucking add up on calories. You can just feel it after. It just feels like you ate more. And the scale usually does some weird shit. Like, even when I eat Chipotle, it's clean, right? I'm fucking heavier the next day. Of like the same calories. I mean, which means it's probably more calories. It feels like it's clean, but you know, so let me just think for a second here. So the restaurants need to be limited. You have to sacrifice. That's the problem. People don't like it. People don't like to sacrifice. They don't like to do things that they don't necessarily want to do. And food is like the number one pleasure in life. You know, if you don't have it, at some point you end up dying. I mean, that's how rooted it is in our brain. It's not easy to diet because your body thinks you're dying. We've adapted, or we have not adapted to this modern way of living, where there's this endless, well, it's not endless, but there's this massive supply of food. So we no longer need to search for it. It's just there. But we still have the same, we have not adapted. Let's just stick with that. We have not adapted to the modern way of living. And so you need to limit your food intake by not going to restaurants as often. Because if you're going to go, you got to just somehow not eat a shit ton. It's not easy to do, right? But somehow you have to manage it. You have to eliminate people from your life that aren't on the same path, unfortunately. You know, you're not going to want to, but if you really want to lose weight and get in shape and just be better, really, and feel better, and have this massive drive for life and this everyday purpose of building the body and building like the life that you want, right? Then you might have to eliminate some people that aren't on that same path, and they might even hate you for it. They're gonna be jealous, and they're gonna try and bring you down, right? So you got to get around people that want the same thing as you, because the saying, the people you surround yourself with, seems to be true. It's not that it's impossible to not turn into the people around you. It just makes it way fucking harder. So why have that limitation there? Why fight it? Why not have the best environment possible? So you got to eat less, move more, less dinners, It's usually at night, right? So that's why I'm saying dinners. I mean, I guess your breakfast could be massive too, but I think most people are probably skipping their breakfast, which you need to eat breakfast. It doesn't even have to be a lot. You should have small meals throughout the day so that your brain chemistry is more like this instead of just up and then just crash. Because what goes up comes back down. Homeostasis. Body likes balance. So if it goes up, it's got to balance it with a low and then here. Right? So serotonin goes up and then it probably crashes down and then it balances out again. So that's why whenever something feels good, after you tend to feel a little bit of the opposite. You know, maybe not right after, but maybe an hour or two or whatever, because you're coming off of the high. That's what the food is. It's a fucking drug. It's a very powerful drug. It's a food and porn. It's like the two things, man. Just, you can't let it control you. You know, I guess the whole saying of eat for fuel. Not that that's really what it is, because you do have a natural tendency to just want it. You just have to eat clean choices and not overeat it. It's a lot harder to get fat off of clean food, meaning not eating the shit, fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, that type of stuff. And you'll know, like, there'll be a bite of food where it's like, this isn't really doing it anymore. You know, the drug isn't working. And you keep trying to get it, and it just gets worse and worse. You know, the first bite's the best. So, eat until you're satisfied, and then stop. I know it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. You just have to get up and, like, go for a walk. You know? So, pretty much wrapping up this video here. I think, hopefully you got some good information from that. It's not easy to be lean, in shape, right? Less than 15% body fat, or 15% or lower, whatever. But it's the one thing you cannot buy is your physical strength, fitness, whatever, leanness. People look at that and it's a clear, oh, this guy means business. They respect you. There is, people treat you differently when you're in shape versus fat shit ball. It's just the fact of it, you know? Like, we're not all the fucking same. It's just not how it works. Whether you want it to be like that, it's just not how it works. And there's certain people that you look at them, you're like, that guy's the fucking man. I mean, come on, let's just admit that. So you want to be the fucking man, pretty much. Which means financially, physically, relationships, just be good at everything. It's really what I'm trying to strive for. I'm not the best in everything, not even close. But I try to be every day, and that keeps me driven every week. It's like the mental training and high from the training and the calculating the food and all that shit, and watching the body tighten up, midsection, chest striations, arms like a fucking stone. I mean, that's like kind of like the thing that's playing in your mind, right? Carving out a statue. I don't really talk like that too much, but whatever. I'm gonna wrap this up. Just did legs. Killed it. Oh, I lost four fucking pounds in 2 days. I've been dieting, and I'm kind of going with a different route this time. I'm kind of like just not hyper focused on the weight, which tends to cause a little bit more stress and cortisol, which tends to not allow the body to drop weight, is what I'm kind of finding. So I'm like just eating less, eating until I'm like satisfied, eating just below my needs, eating around 2250, 2300, and that seems to do the trick. When I push it any lower, I can't sleep properly, and I'm hyper focused on like food, and cortisol is higher, and it kind of fights me a little bit. So just kind of chipping away a little bit, and so I'm like 155.5 this morning, but I'll probably increase maybe I'll increase calories. I might not increase calories a little bit. I'll be heavier after this training session for sure. Whenever I do legs, it takes at least like 3-4 days, and for my weight to just come down, just swollen and just holding on to fluid, right? So I'll wrap this up, and 12:15. Definitely gotta eat my meal. A little bit behind, but whatever. It's usually how it works when I'm training, because I end up training for like 2 hours. I don't want to. I'd rather be shorter, but sometimes the rest periods, sometimes I rest a bit longer on the big sets, like the big exercise, like hack squats and deadlifts. The other stuff, like extensions, hamstring curls, inner thigh, calves, I don't have to rest as long, you know? So, yeah, that's it, man.